GIS Visualization and some of the projects that are coming out of the library. So we'll just turn the time over to Justin.
All right, thank you. All right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this presentation of GIS Visualization, a library's pursuit towards creative and innovative research. My name is Justin Sorensen. I'm the GIS specialist for the Willard Marriott Library's Creativity and Innovation Services Department. In particular, I'm responsible for our GIS Services Division. What is a GIS specialist, you may ask? Well, this presentation will describe what that is as we take an in-depth look into what GIS is and the role it plays as an emerging technology within academic libraries across the country. Together, we'll review the technology as it presents itself as a project-oriented service to students and researchers, the layers and levels that comprise the creation of a geospatial project, and the impacts that GIS has within higher education. So, before we begin, I'd just like to briefly talk about how academic libraries have changed and developed over time. In the earliest days, libraries were created for the general purpose of preservation. Restricted access was a common practice, and in general, the materials available were only for use by select individuals. The practice had to do a lot with the production of the materials being limited in their printing numbers, and also that they were in fact one of a kind. As printing practices changed over time, so too did the availability of the materials. As we fast forward to a modern day academic library, we see just how much these institutions have evolved. Over the past decade, academic libraries have evolved from quiet repositories for books and resources to active communities composed of technology, online resources, and physical materials. Establishing a practice of openness among students and researchers, the academic library, as part of a higher education, has developed a new mission to both support the school's curriculum and support the university faculty and students. The evolution of academic libraries has also developed a hidden identity that the public is becoming more aware of by interpreting these institutions as established places for learning to take place. The academic libraries have transformed from offering those books and materials to now offering teaching spaces and technology equipment that aid in the pursuit of research. Providing the driving force of these academic libraries are specialists in diverse fields available to assist, collaborate in a research environment designed for student and faculty success through open access to print, digital, and technological options for pursuing research opportunities. As the academic libraries evolve, so too has the research methodologies utilized to analyze, interpret, and present information, leading to new and expanded services for project and research assistance that simultaneously redefine what the academic library is and what it is capable of performing. Information in books and journals are now available on demand through e-journals and databases. Digital repositories have been created to make available original works of scholarship, while library publication opportunities are becoming more available to students and faculty. Special collections and rare items are now being presented by libraries with partnerships with specialized programs such as book arts and university presses, which now open new opportunities for project collaboration and research development. These developments have also led to changes in the role the academic library plays within higher education. As emerging technologies expand upon current research potential, academic libraries are embracing technology by incorporating it into almost everything they do. Recent trends include the formation of audio and video production studios that allow researchers the opportunity to present sound and video components while taking the presentation of materials in a new direction. 3D printing machines and software for bringing research and concepts off the drawing board to allow for physical interaction with ideas and prototypes in development. And finally, an emerging technology that is focused in this presentation and becoming more prominent in academic libraries and institutions is the availability of GIS services and technology for geospatially visualizing data in new and exciting ways. So GIS is an acronym, and it represents stands for Geographic Information Systems, and in more recent trends, it's being referred to as Geospatial Information Systems. These refer to a number of different geospatial technologies, software processes, and methods that are used to visualize different types of data within a geospatial context. In general, this type of information is presented through cartographic maps, interactive mapping applications, and also through geospatial infographics. At its core, GIS allows for the visualization, analysis, and interpretation of data in order to geospatially understand relationships, patterns, and trends in data and information. This process is accomplished through the incorporation of multiple layers, which when brought together create a geospatial visualization that expresses and enhances data through the incorporation of visual elements. Layers that are utilized through GIS include imagery, such as satellite and aerial photographs, elevation data sets that can include contour lines and elevation models, transportation data sets. These can be anything like street network lines, railways, address information, which is useful for geocoding and plotting locations on the map. Additional features, physical features, which include boundaries, hydrology layers, and also survey control points, as well as the research data that an individual has collected and wishes to present to viewers. Like software programs associated with other disciplines, GIS is comprised of many platforms for presenting, interacting with, and creating geospatial data and visualizations. Some of the most highly utilized are ArcGIS, Google Earth, Google Maps, QGIS, and Global Mapper. Now, the focus of this presentation will be on the academic applications of GIS, but it's also important to note just a few of the real-world applications utilized every day that make the conveniences of modern life possible. In our digitally converting world, our smartphones are generally the first resource many of us go to for information on demand. Features like GPS navigation and nearby business information are conveniences GIS aids in making available. In business, planning, and emergency response, GIS allows for determining response times, understanding affected areas, and visualizing changes to city and zoning laws while predicting how these changes will impact the future. These are just a few of the ways in which GIS plays a role in our daily lives. Through an educational and research focus, GIS plays an important role in the research and projects of students, faculty, and researchers in several ways. First, GIS creates an improved communication of information. Statistical charts, spreadsheets, and raw data comprehensible only by individuals in select fields can now be visualized and presented in a geospatial format that others in other fields are now able to easily interpret and draw conclusions from. Second, GIS-based maps and visualizations greatly assist in understanding situations and in the storytelling process. Many of the projects that and research topics fall under this definition and allow viewers the ability to visualize events and information at the heart of projects that relay thoughts, ideas, and interpretations in ways that text cannot. Third, GIS establishes a universal language which is utilizable between different departments, disciplines, professional fields, organizations, and the public. It's been said that a picture can paint 1,000 words. So in the case of GIS, a picture is painted which geospatially represents discipline-specific information and data on demand that others can quickly access, understand, and interpret. Finally, GIS allows for the visualization of many different types of data and can be used as a comparative tool for discovering how different types of information relate. So for example, we can take openly available census information, incorporate this into a standard Excel spreadsheet, and utilize GIS programs with the incorporation of shapefiles, boundaries, and thematic layers to present and develop connections and understand different relationships with that data. It's for these reasons that there are very few kinds of information and data that cannot be analyzed using GIS, which makes GIS an excellent tool for presenting and visualizing information in creative and innovative ways. So through the conversion of raw data and print information into a geospatial context, GIS enables users the ability to share information quickly and visually while simultaneously determining many factors about the data. This is a sample data set as part of a library project we worked on. It's information that we collected from the United States government. Just taking a look at this raw data, would anyone like to guess what this information represents? Any guesses? Great, you guys have pinpointed the geospatial component to it. So would you guys believe me if I told you that this raw data represents nuclear fallout statistics related to an individual test detonation that was conducted in the Nevada desert? This is an example that shows just how that data can be represented in GIS in new ways. So it's actually part of a larger project we created. It's called the Downwinders of Utah Archive if you're interested in learning more. By converting that same spreadsheet into a geospatial visualization, we're able to quickly determine many factors about the data. So through this, we now understand that there's a clear understanding and indication that the extent of the data and information represented is established through visualized map boundaries. And as you guys pointed out, you saw the map counties. So for this data set, we can see that the information does not exceed outside the boundaries of Utah. Viewers are able to understand and the focus related to the data and information by examining the level of detail in which the information is presented. So again, looking closely at this, we can see we're at an individual county level. You'll actually look a little bit closer, you'll see some of the larger counties are actually dissected. And looking at the information on the map, you'll notice that those boundaries were established based on records from the National Cancer Institute. Viewers are also able to understand what the data and information in each visualization represents through the review of a descriptive title and narrative. In this example, we quickly see that this is a summarized visualization of iodine-131 ground deposits and fallout exposure. We quickly see when the time frame of which this data was collected, and also within the information we can find out exactly where this original information derived. Viewers are also able to visualize statistics through visual and thematic color schemes for interpretation of information at a glance. So with this example, rather than looking at that spreadsheet of all the different numbers, trying to pinpoint highs and lows, the color scheme actually allows us to see which counties were impacted at highest levels. So we've got this nice color scheme going. The key to the site actually helps break this down in much better detail as well. So by comparing the data in its original form to that presented in the geospatial context, a clear depiction of how GIS enhances and expands upon the information through this presentation and delivery can easily be visualized. So, moving beyond a cartographic map and visualizations, GIS opens the door to interactive data and learning concepts, utilizing raw data through research and query functionality. Interactive visual charts are an excellent example of offering new perspectives to raw data by extracting and visualizing incorporated information from standard spreadsheets. Functionality such as this offers a unique opportunity to interactively compare, analyze, and interpret data sets in new visual and dynamic ways through the on-demand generation of geospatial visualizations. To educate viewers and researchers of methods, events, and processes contained and described within data sets, GIS in conjunction with three-dimensional software allows for the creation of reconstruction animations for describing, visualizing, and breaking down events as they progress. Being both educational and engaging, such materials offer the unique opportunity to visualize events as seen through an observer's point of view. This expands upon the text and data by allowing viewers the opportunity to learn about events through an engaging learning experience. This is another part of the Downwinders of Utah archive. We broke down how nuclear detonations took place so people would understand the process that took event. GIS also has the ability to bring new light to historical resources by transforming two-dimensional maps and information into three-dimensional perspectives. By scanning and digitally aligning historical maps on a digital model through a process known as georeferencing, a new method for viewing, interacting with, and analyzing valuable collections, historical materials, and resources becomes openly available to researchers of multiple disciplines and simultaneously establishes a new realm for academic library research. Presentation of research materials, data sets, and information through a geospatial platform creates an educational and engaging experience that is absent through text. Through the generation of interactive projects and interfaces, new opportunities for sharing, expressing information, and presenting are available for expanding research objectives through easy-to-operate and accessible components and interactive materials. These projects and interfaces can be anything as simple as an interactive timeline with three-dimensional maps and analysis functions available on demand. Other three-dimensional interfaces that can contain historical information, photographs, and data sets. A series of visual components and visualizations that can be expanded upon and utilized within current research projects or within future research opportunities. Or even a simple collection of maps geospatially presenting information are some of the many ways in which GIS can be utilized to assist in presenting information and expanding it for others. Academic libraries are stepping up and embracing GIS by offering services, specialized expertise, and technological resources to enable students, faculty, and researchers of higher education institutions the opportunity to incorporate GIS into their projects and research. Following upon the academic library's mission, services to educate and assist in research are becoming openly available. These include collaborative support in the creation and production of interactive and cartographic mapping projects, research procedures for locating, retrieving, and creating geospatial data, support in developing skills for utilizing geospatial software, training support through workshops, online tutorials, and available resource materials that are online, and also through project collaboration assistance where we sit down and work one-on-one with individuals to help them achieve their project goals. Accompanying such services are the overall impacts GIS has throughout an academic library. These impacts range from the development of digital collections to closely interact with and examine materials in ways previously unavailable, the examination of multiple data sets of various formats within a single program, and also the ability to convey print and multimedia materials through easily understandable visualizations and interactive platforms. So, in conclusion, GIS is a very beneficial tool that allows for sharing data and resources geospatially while taking research and projects to a new level. The diversity of projects and disciplines utilizing GIS demonstrates a wide variety of possibilities for future research, project development, and collaborations that students, faculty, and researchers are able to openly access and utilize within their research endeavors. In our world that is continuing to convert into a digital realm, GIS will continue to be one of the many tools that academic libraries will have available to assist in geospatially sharing data and resources with others, and at the same time will help us to help individuals to achieve their project goals. That concludes my presentation on GIS. So I hope this gives you an idea of what it is and why it's so important as an emerging technology within our library. So, happy to answer any questions you have at this time.
So I've done a little bit of development with the Google API and Esri and ArcGIS, and the learning curve is pretty steep there. So in the last few slides, you recommend, you know, one-on-one working and sort of partnering with the library. In your experience, is there any sort of magic bullet, or is there a technology that's emerging that allows a teacher to start to sort of understand and utilize data layers and put together their own kind of mapping GIS
Do you mean sort of like
projects.
in terms of what's available technology-wise?
Yeah.
There's a series of different ones available right now. Like ArcGIS desktop version is going to be probably the most high-end. You know, there's a strong learning curve to that one. But there's online versions such as ArcGIS Online. It's very user-friendly in that ability to visualize information. So we usually start them out somewhere there. Google Earth is also very user-friendly in that area. So it's usually a matter of starting out something simple and then educating to move something, you know, more high-end software down the road. But generally, collaborations we work on, we work together to achieve those goals. So they're learning a process like I mentioned, georeferencing. So coming in, they may not know how to do that at all, but through our collaboration and one-on-one assistance, they're going to learn how to do those and be able to repeat that down the road.
We've actually used Microsoft's MapPoint, which it's not nearly as robust as an ArcGIS, but for some simple kind of data visualizations involving maps, we've had good luck using that.
From the library angle, what are some of the student projects you've worked with, or departments that you've partnered with throughout the university?
In terms of the departments, it really varies. I've had students, probably the most come from geography, city metro planning. I've even had occasional math students come in as well, showing those different areas. The projects they've worked on, City Metro has been a lot of showing how changes over time. For instance, they needed to create maps based on different time frames, so maybe 1900, 1950, and a current view. So learning those aspects. There's another project recently that was looking at riots that have occurred throughout the world. They're actually focusing just in the United States. So there's lots of different topics, and with GIS, it's really just a matter of if the information can be presented with a location component. So. So we do a lot of outreach here at the library. So we go around to different departments, different events. With the library's website, we have a GIS services page set up to get people started, kind of ideas for projects, where they can go for information, and also to set up an appointment. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's mostly word of mouth that gets it out. So, but yeah, we do a lot of outreach with different areas, so expect to hear more.
Are you creating maps and projects that are showing how the University of Utah itself has changed over time and charting and mapping that?
We haven't done any of those yet. It's definitely something we'd like to look into, though.
Are there any other questions? Oh, Anne.
Certainly. Absolutely. So the project Dan's talking about refers to the nuclear fallout, where we studied all of the radioactive fallout for all different counties based on the Nevada test site. The website for that is downwindersofutah.org. So I invite you guys to check that out. It's really interesting. There's lots of different maps, interactive videos. We have oral histories from actual survivors, current events. Sure. This project, it was called the Historical GIS of Salt Lake City. Basically, we were working with a professor in the Department of Geography who wanted to look at how chemical, in particular, EPA Superfund sites, how they were affecting different areas. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but just down the street here where the Veterans Hospital was, we have a massive PCE plume that's actually going clear down to 9th South. So it's one of them that we focused on. But a project like that shows different chemicals, how they were impacting the area. Different businesses were known to use that kind of information or chemicals, and how they were disposing of it. Yeah, it's pretty. So.
Well, thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause.